Hello students, very good morning to one and all. Let's welcome to VAYU News Analysis of 2nd July 2026. Now quickly, let's get into the today's articles. So, let's get into first article, what we are going to see in today's class. So, the first article, what we are going to see is the issue of coal. Okay, so as we all know, coal is the major backbone for energy mix in India. Around 59 to 79% of energy security generated that comes from the coal. So, coal is one of the major matrix for energy development and energy security in India. But here the author has mentioned some of the important points that needs to be noted down, and also the diversifications that India has taken place in order to reduce dependence on the other countries. Let's say here, what it has been mentioning is that even though India is heavily dependent upon the coal, India imports some of the other energy security measures like LNG, etc. So, these kind of energy security guardians are imported from the other countries. But in case of any kind of external events like conditions of war and all those kind of things, at that particular point of time, it is very important for a country like India in order to diversify its sources of collection of energy. So here the author is mentioning about India's supply base has nearly tripled over the past 2 decades. Means, let's say before 2 decades, if we are depending upon the, let's say, 2 countries, now it has been tripled to 6 countries. So India's supplier base has been diversed. Means we are searching for different countries from where we are able to get different kind of inputs, and also along with this we have improved our capability process. Means our capability in order to refine the products in order to give final products has also been improved. So, according to the nature of the changing world, first point is we diversified our base, and also we improved our capability in order to refine the products and to produce the final products. So, here he is using the term called technical confidence. So, try to highlight this particular term in the mains point of view. Why? Because this technical confidence has enabled India in order to refine the products instead of depending upon the products from the other countries. So you can use this technical confidence term not only with respect to this particular article, you can use also with respect to artificial intelligence, machine learning, IoT, where new kinds of knowledge, let's say, you can use this term called technical confidence with respect to digital scams, like how country is progressing in order to identify and to remove the obstacles because of the digital scam. So at all these process and phenomenon, you can use the term called technical confidence. Now see, so the issue is that he is mentioning about how we diversified our sources. So we diversified from, instead of traveling of these things only from particular strait like Strait of Hormuz, to identifying alternative routes, and also developing of multiple crude oil capacity refineries. So this is what has been explained in this particular point. So this is regarding to how we diversified into usage of different straits for transportation, and how we have been diversified into multiple crude oil products. This is what given here in this particular thing. Now, we need to identify the main issues that are faced by the Indian coal industry. As I already told you, around 59 to 79% of India energy's mix depends upon the coal, but there are some of the issues that are being faced by the Indian coal, especially the first and foremost thing is that Indian coal consists of high ash content. High ash content, it is one of the important problem and major problem that is being faced by the Indian coal. And along with this, what are the other ways is that harm to environment. So whenever burning of the coal has been happened, it will release the greenhouse gases into environment, causing harm to environment. This is the another major problem what India is facing with respect to usage of coal. And along with that, since this coal is a non-renewable source of energy, it is not renewable like other kind of sources. It is a non-renewable source of energy. So these are the three main issues what we need to discuss with respect to this particular article. Why? Because if you have seen, this presence of high ash content makes the coal, Indian coal, less valuable when compared to the countries having the coal which are having the low ash content. So let's see how we can solve this particular problem. So the major thing what we can do is that in order to solve this problem, we are focusing upon the other kinds of renewable energy type of sources, let's say, who are depending upon the other sources like solar energy and also hydro energy. Okay, hydro storage. So by reducing the usage of this particular coal, and also we are improving the refining process, so we can get the better quality of the coal that can be used in our daily wear needs. This is the first step how we can solve this problem. And one more step is that since combustion of coal creates the greenhouse gases into atmosphere, we can reduce this by proper utilization. Means in the process of gasification of the coal. So it is one of the refining step that has been taken. So in the process of gasification of the coal, what happens is that there is a scope for obtaining of brown or grey hydrogen. Brown or grey hydrogen is being obtained. So this is used as a source of renewable energy which can reduce the emission of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. So the main thing is that we are utilizing or converting or producing the coal in a environmentally healthy way and also environmentally sustainable way. So then the usage of this particular coal will also leads to positive kind of results by not damaging the environment. So this is what we need to learn from this particular article. So from the prelims point of view, what we need to do is that we need to have knowledge on some of the schemes and also basic knowledge on ranking of India in the renewable energy installation and also ranking of different energy sources. Let's say for example, we need to find out the rank of India in solar energy production is third among the world, and rank of India in wind energy production is fourth across the world. So the position of India, whether it is in top 5 or not, in with respect to production of solar, all these kind of things must be noted in the prelims point of view. And also we must be aware of renewable sources of energy, the order of renewable sources of energy. Let's say for example, in India, solar energy is the first renewable source of energy, and after that wind energy and also large hydropower energy. So we need to focus upon the order of these particular sources of energy in production of the energy. So this is what we need to learn from this particular point of view. Any schemes regarding the production of coal and also renewable sources of energy, and rankings of India, and also ranking of different sources of renewable energy, and these are the frequent bits that is being asked in the prelims point of view. And in the mains point of view, what we need to do is that we need to highlight or we need to study, write the important points like as discussed in this particular article, how we should diversify our sources of energy, and also how we can increase the capabilities of energy, how we can increase our technical capabilities in order to increase the production. So this is what you need to understand from the mains point of view. So here two words have been discussed. One is the technical confidence, where you can use in the mains point of view at different articles, and one more article and one more word here is that from innovation to execution. So India needs to transform from innovation to execution. Why? Because India has very good research base and also very good talent pool. But the main thing is that because of some of the structural problems that is being present, we are not able to transition from innovation into execution. So you can use this term called innovation to execution, especially in the GS2 paper governance. So in the governance, you can use this term called innovation to execution. So this is what you need to learn from this particular article. So how we are diversified and how we are developing different technical capabilities, along with percentage of energy mix by usage of the coal, and also challenges that is being faced by usage of the coal, and also how we can overcome these particular challenges. And in prelims point of view, have a knowledge on the schemes and also rankings, and along with the mains point of view, try to use that particular two words, try to note it down, those particular two words. This is what we should learn from this particular article. Now let's move on to next article. This article is also mentioning about the energy future of India. This article is also mentioning about the energy future of India. So here you need to understand that India, since from the ages, it has been transitioned into some of the successful methodologies. Let's say here he is mentioning about near universal household electrification. So almost near universal household electrification is one of the achievement that is being done in India since the independence. And along with that, what is the another thing that India has gained advantage or improvement is that expanding the sources of energy instead of depending only on the non-renewable sources of energy to renewable sources of energy. So, in order to satisfy these two conditions, what we need is that we need an unified national energy framework. We need an unified national energy framework that has been discussed here in this particular article. So try to note down this word called unified national energy framework for future reference. So whenever any kind of question has came on particularly energy mix of India, whether it is the renewable sources or non-renewable sources of energy, try to highlight this particular word in the way forward. That is, India needs to have unified national energy framework. So try to highlight this particular word in the way forward. That will be giving you value edge. Now, the thing is that because of the major thing what it has been highlighted in this particular article is that increase of the dependence, means dependence on various kinds of non-renewable sources has been decreased and increase of dependence on renewable sources of energy are increased. Let's say here he has quoted some of the examples like Saubhagya scheme, where the main aim of the scheme is achieving the electrification of rural households across India. And he also mentioned about Pradhana Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, where the main aim is to transition from coal-based or normal firewood-based energy generation to LPG usage in order to protect the health of women who is using that particular thing. And here try to note down the particular values, how India's renewable energy has been transitioned. So it has been transitioned in just a small gap of 10 years. So in 2025 it is 40 gigawatts and now it has reached its capacity to 260 gigawatts. So in a small period of time itself, in just a span of 10 years, India's renewable energy capacity has grown. Now, the major thing what we need to understand here is that in order to have proper unified national energy framework, we need to focus upon some steps, some pillars. Those are adequacy, access, affordability and appropriate sustainability. Let's say for example, what we need to do is that we need to provide proper access to these kinds of energy sources to all people irrespective of their criteria, like economic criteria. So the cheap access to these particular sources of energy must be done, and along with that affordability should place an issue. Why? Because the source which is being available as an alternative to non-renewable sources of energy must be cheap and affordable to large sections of society in India. So only in case when affordability is acting as a major factor, then only access gets reached. So this is how each and everything is interlinked. And also India must have sufficient adequate reserves and also sufficient diversified linkages or portfolios in order to develop the usage of these particular energy mix. So along with that, what we need to have extra things that is being mentioned is that we need to strengthen the service delivery. We need to strengthen the service delivery, and along with that, what we need to improve is that we need to enhance the markets. We need to enhance the markets in order to achieve proper affordability. So instead of using one size fits for all approach, what we need to do is that we need to develop different criteria for people of the different economic stages. So this is what we need to learn from this particular article. Now, the major thing is that here it has been mentioned about CCUS. So, CCUS stands for Carbon Capture, Utilization and Storage. So, with respect to we need to understand with respect to CCUS, Carbon Capture, Utilization and Storage, what it does is that any kind of carbon that has been emitted, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, so the carbon products when they are being emitted into the atmosphere, this particular technology, it will capture those carbon molecules released into atmosphere and it will either utilize or store permanently or temporarily in some of the places like unused mines or closed mines and also under the seabed. So this is how we must integrate the usage of technology like CCUS in order to reduce the dependence, reduce the GHG emissions and harmful chemicals to atmosphere, and we must promote the India's renewable sources of energy by making it accessibility and affordability to large number of people, along with enhancing the market structures. So this is what we need to learn from this particular article. Now, in the prelims perspective, what we need to understand from this article is that here you need to have the particular thing in mind, like how much amount of renewable source of energy is being produced in total. So this word called energy mix. So how much amount of energy mix is being produced from renewable energy must be remembered. And along with this, what we need to have is that knowledge on schemes. Let's say here the scheme called Saubhagya and Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. So knowledge on these particular kind of schemes also must be having proper knowledge. And in the mains point of view, you need to have aware about the way forward and technologies like CCUS, carbon capture, utilization and storage, and along with the pillars of energy security. As I already told you, there are 4 pillars of energy security, that is adequacy, access, affordability and sustainability. So this 4A architecture. So whenever you are writing any kind of thing, any kind of question in this particular climate energy future, what we need to understand is that instead of writing normal word called pillars, use the term called 4A approach. 4A approach, where each A stands for affordability, access, adequacy and also appropriate sustainability. So usage of this particular word called 4A approach, especially in way forward or in case of conclusion, will strengthen your marks, will increase your marks. So this is what we need to focus from in the prelims and the mains point of view, what we need to focus upon. Now let's get into next article. So here the next article is focusing upon the Panchayati Raj institutions. So before understanding this particular article, what we need to do is that we need to have basic knowledge on 73rd Amendment of the Constitution, which has created the Panchayati Raj institutions, and also the knowledge on committees which has created this particular institutions. And along with that, there are some of the basics what you need to learn is that what are the compulsory provisions that needs to be implemented by PRS, and also non-compulsory provisions that needs to be implemented. Okay, so these are the static knowledge what you need to have, and various kinds of like evaluation. Before the evaluation of formation of panchayats by Gadgil committee, we need to have proper committees, like what are different types of committees that has been formed. Let's say Ashok Mehta committee, okay, Hanmantaya committee, Gadgil committee, okay, Tungan committee. All these committees you should have a basic knowledge and also proper sequence of the evaluation of PRIs. Now in this article they discussed about the problems that has been faced by the PRS. So the main problem what it has been discussed in this particular article is that these PRIs are actually receiving the some amount of funds from the Financial Commission grants. So as recommended by the grants given by Finance Commission, these PRAs are getting some amount of money from center and the states. But the issue is that how efficiently these grants are being utilized. So how efficiently these grants are utilized is that here he has mentioned some of the things like, see, so he has mentioned about the major problems that has been faced here is that about 18 to 28% of respondents, they cite the lack of outcomes. So they mention the main reason is that lack of outcomes is the major issue for criticizing the efficiency and effectiveness of panchayats. And along with that, it is also mentioning that Grama Sabhas spend 13% of time in identifying local issues, but 4% in discovering the revenue generation. So instead of like spending around 13% of time, only 4% of time is being spent on the revenue generation. This is also one of the systematic problem that has been discussed here. And along with this, there are other problems that is being faced by panchayats, like creation of parallel bodies as alternative to panchayats, and also one more issue called issue of caste. There are some areas, especially some rural areas, where caste is a major factor that is dominating the working of the panchayats. And the main problem is that lack of expertise, where the officials in the panchayats, they are not being trained efficiently, because let's say in this era of technological invention, having proper knowledge on various technological things like computers is minimal. So the persons who are working there, they are having the minimal technological knowledge, especially let's say on computers and all those kinds of things. And the main issue what we need to discuss is that the issue of the Sarpanch Pati. So in the namesake of having 33% of reservation for women in panchayats, for the namesake, the woman is elected as Sarpanch, but the actual thing and the actual operations are being done by her husband, that is the male counterpart, instead of the woman. So Sarpanch Pati is the major issue that is being faced by the panchayats. So this is what we need to understand from this particular article. What are the problems that has been faced by the panchayats? Now let's discuss about some of the solutions or way forward. Is that we need to have proper digital literacy by conducting various campaigns and also various sessions for the staff, especially who are working in the panchayats. So this digital literacy is the major thing what we need to have. And along with that, government need to take proper steps in order to curb the social issues like caste in working of the panchayats by taking effective measurements. And also we need to digitally transform the panchayats by inducting various infrastructure which has wide scope. And we need to increase the participation of women by taking example of successive women who has excelled in the panchayats. Okay, so this is how creation of role models of women is need to be done. And proper audit of the expenditure that has been done by the panchayats need to be taken place, because audit acts as a major thing in order to avoid particular kinds of taxes. And also panchayats must be provided with the financial autonomy and also decision taking autonomy. Financial autonomy and also decision taking autonomy in order to improve the access. So this is what you need to learn from this particular article, that is try to highlight these particular words like participation fatigue. Okay, so try to use that particular words whenever you have got any kind of question on the panchayats. And also see, one more sentence I have highlighted from this article is that the 73rd amendment empowers Grama Sabhas, but governments have reduced them to clearing houses for center and state level schemes. So instead of granting of the funds for the panchayats, the government has made them only for the clearing houses in order to work for central and the state schemes without having proper autonomy in decision making and autonomy in the generation of fund and the fund usage. This is the next most sentence which you can use in the mains article. And also it has also mentioned about one more thing, that is Grama Sabhas have remained a playground for the leisured elite such as landlords and contracts. So along with the Sarpanch Pati point, along with the issue of the Sarpanch Pati, you can also add another point like dominance of elite owners like landlords, etc. Or also you can integrate with this particular points of caste. Okay, upper caste system, they are acting as the elite landlords in order to work efficiently in the panchayats. So this is what the major problems that are being faced by panchayats, and also these are the solutions that must be taken forward in order to improve the efficiency of the panchayats. Now let's get into next article. So the next article is on curbing the young adults on social media. As you already know, the usage of social media has increased across different sections and also different sections of society, and also different ages, different people of different ages in the society. Now, the main issue comes when the usage of social media has been increased among the children. Why? Because children, especially who are below 18 years and who are in their 16 or 17 years and less than 18 years, they are very vulnerable to increased usage of social media. Here, the one positive thing that has been argued is that social media is the main source of information. Social media is the main source of information which helps in the promotion of the various kinds of knowledge, which helps the students in order to face the competition at the global level. This is the positive thing. But the negative thing is that how efficiently the youth or especially the children are utilizing the social media. Are they utilizing the social media for the education and information gaining purpose, or are they misusing the social media for other purpose? Because if we consider the screen time, among the children especially, it is very high, and also there is a caution regarding this particular thing. So there is one positive argument and also one negative argument regarding the usage of the social media. But the issue is that how we can reduce this particular thing usage. So there are some of the ways that has been mentioned. So one way is having complete ban for children. Let's say for specific ages, the social media is complete ban. And for other section, there is one more way which is used in this particular article, is that having restrictions on the usage of social media, that is restrictions on the screen time, is also one more issue that has been highlighted in this particular article. But before going to implement this, each and every country has different conditions, and each and every country has different kinds and sections of the society. Will these two particular schemes especially applicable for country like India? No, we need to have proper knowledge and also proper thing what we need to implement for especially for children of India. So what we can do, the solutions what we can do is that we need to have emotional AI. Means we need to integrate the age verification, let's say facial verification in order to estimate the age of the person. Because whenever these particular ban has been implemented by the people, they are misusing it. Let's say they are misusing this particular usage by various things like usage of the dark web, which is very dangerous, and also there are false information is being given, or they are doing login with respect to parents' age and parents' credentials. So these are the misuses that has been done. So in order to solve these misuses, what we need to do is that we must use the facial verification as given in the biometrics in order to identify the age of the person that who is using the social media. And along with this, what we need to do is that we need to have strict regulations and also strict punishments while give usage of social media for the people across certain sections, and also regulations of the intermediary platforms also must be increased. This is what is given in this particular article. Now see, social media and positives of social media, that is what has been highlighted, and the negatives of social media. And here they have mentioned about two kinds of things. One is on complete ban for especially some specific sort of ages, and one more thing is that restrictions on screen time as done in the China. Now even when these kind of restrictions are done, they are misused like this. So in order to solve, what are the solutions that we can use? So here also we can use emotional AI and also facial verification in order to know the age of the person who is using that particular social media account. So so this is what you need to get from this article. And since here the point that has been highlighted here is that the positive role is the getting main source of information, especially for the children. Of course, this is a positive point, but how effectively that information is being utilized is also need to be taken care of. Okay, so this is what you need to get from this particular article. Now let's move on to next article. So the next article here is identifying about GCCs, Global Capability Centers. So these are nothing but there is one headquarter. Let's say there is one institution A and it is headquartered in a particular country called X. Now under these countries, now various operating units have been developed in different kinds of countries, in different types of countries. So these particular organizations or children organizations under the parent organization are known as the Global Capability Centers, which take care of the operations of the institution which is located at the headquarters. Now in this article they are mentioning about the position of India, and in India approximately 1700 GCCs are present. So this is an added advantage for a country like India. Why? Because there are various positives or advantages because of GCCs. Is that one is it provide direct employment. It provide direct employment for various IT sectors and people of various sections. And along with the direct employment, it also provides various indirect employment opportunities. Let's say for example, various businesses that has been located around that GCC, and also various data centers and various market access platforms, they work and they get benefit indirectly. So because of the GCC, both the direct employment and also indirect employment opportunities are being provided because of the GCCs. Now with these GCCs, what have been highlighted is that especially for some of the cities, let's say Hyderabad, Delhi, Bangalore, Pune, etc. So these cities has become hub of the GCCs, where large number of IT professionals and many number of business are being developed in that particular area. But now there are some of the negatives or disadvantages or cons of this particular GCC. One is that the issue of efficiency. Whether these particular global capability centers are acting at full efficiency or they are just acting as the child organizations without having proper output generation. This is the one issue that has been highlighted, and along with this there are some of the structural issues that has been highlighted which has caused harm to environment and also issues faced by urban areas, especially spike in the rent, high rents in the households, and the main issue is the issue of traffic especially in the cities like this. So these are the things that has been highlighted in this particular article. So what we need to do is the main solution is that we need to improve the efficiency. We need to improve the efficiency of the working of these GCCs, especially in order to increase the output, and proper autonomy must be given to these institutions from their parent organizations in order to have good economic capabilities and storage. And these GCCs not alone can be linked in the GS3 perspective, it can also be linked in the GS2 perspective, because whenever any country has particular institution has headquartered in another country and its GCC is located in India, automatically there is establishment of business relationships and also increase of FDI into India, where economic capability and also bilateral relationships between both the countries will be developed. So try to linkage this particular article in both the prelims and the mains point of view. Let's say in the prelims point of view, what you need to do is that you need to have proper definition of the GCCs, and in the mains point of view, identify these particular things called capacity of India in having the GCCs. Let's say here 1700 GCCs, more than 1700 GCCs in India. So the value and also the positives and also the challenges faced along with the solutions in order to improve. This is what you need to understand and try to link with both GS2 and the GS3, especially also you can also link with the IR part in the GS2 also and GS3 also. So this is what you need to understand from this particular article. Okay, so this is for today. So we have analyzed in total 5 articles for today. So these are the important articles for today. Just concentrate on this and try to note down the words which have been highlighted in the green color in order, especially for the mains point of view. Okay, this is for today's news analysis. If you like, please comment, share and subscribe to VAYU IAS, and thank you.